Hey, how you doing, guys? So we're gonna wait a second, give a couple people an opportunity to come in. I'm gonna obviously introduce myself later on, but for you guys who don't know, I am Rico. I have a couple YouTube channels, Two Dudes Dropshipping, which you guys may know me from, and also my solo channel, which is the Roughnecks eCom channel. I talk all about, yeah, guys, we're working through a couple things. Sorry about that, but yeah, so I talk a little bit about, e-commerce in general, Amazon, Shopify, but primarily Amazon. So let's go ahead and let's break into it. So tonight we're going to be talking about which method is right for you selling on Amazon, whether that's going to be wholesaling, which is something that I absolutely love, or private label selling, and the differences between like wholesale FBA, private label FBA, and private label drop shipping, which you guys can do, but most people don't know that. Most people assume that drop shipping is against Amazon's terms of service, and it's actually not, as long as you do something that's called third-party fulfillment, and we're actually going to get into that in a little bit. So let's go ahead. Let's knock this out. So for the guys that stick around, I'm going to be giving out gift cards and a very, very special gift to one of you guys. So 4 people are going to get $25 Amazon gift cards, and another person is going to get time with me. So there's going to be an hour-long Skype session where I walk you through how to find your products, which products are going to make you the most money, how to use the Amzscout tools, the web app, and the Chrome extension. And it's going to be very, very important, especially if you're getting in a private label. You're going to need good keywords when it comes to your back-end search terms, when it comes to building your title, your bullet points, and your product description. A lot of people will say that the product description is not important, but it is. So stick around, man. There's tons of stuff coming. There's going to be huge discounts, and you guys get gift cards and time with me to help you make some money. All right, so who am I? I went over it a little bit beforehand, but most people do not know I'm actually a military vet. So I spent time in the Air Force. I had a great time there, but the money wasn't all that great. So I had to figure a little something else out. I'm a 7-figure e-com seller, primarily on Amazon, but I also do own a car shop. And, we sell through WooCommerce, if you guys know that platform. We actually do pretty well. We're primarily a big Evo in a, Porsche GTR shop. I'm also a mentor and coach. I have hundreds of students that, I help with Amazon in particular. Some people I help with Facebook ads and Shopify, but primarily Amazon, whether that be through wholesale, private label, or so on. And I'm an automation expert. I also help people with their Amazon businesses. I run those for them and make sure that they make money pretty much hands off. Now, when it comes to success, most people will say, oh, well, what do you know? You may be able to make money, but can you help other people make money? And these are just some of my student results. You see here, people doing, $570 a day, doing almost 6K, a month. This is within like their first 30 to 60 days generally. Some people take a little bit longer to kick off, but for the most part, when I get to them, I am very hardcore about the learning process. I'm like, if you want to be successful, you have to sit down, you have to grind it out. And within 30 to 60 days, they're generally up and running, making money. And if that's not enough, there's more. You don't have to make $100,000 a month, guys. Contrary to popular belief, making $100,000 on Amazon a month is very, very difficult. But you can make $100,000. Actually, a lot of sellers do. Obviously, I'm in that camp, and a lot of my students are as well. But as you can see here, there's people who have got my training within 24 hours. They're making money with private label drop shipping using third-party fulfillment. One of my best students, Tommy, as you can see here, he's been crushing it as of late. He's doing around $15,000 a month now, and you guys will actually get to see him, if you follow me on social media and so on. But why should you sell on Amazon? A lot of people don't understand, what Amazon can do for them, whether, it's private label wholesale or retail arbitrage, anything in between. Amazon is massive, guys. It's the second $2 trillion company. Okay, that's really, really big. Amazon put Sears out of business. absolutely crushed them. A lot of brick and mortar places are closing up because Amazon is such a dominant player in the space. There's so much traffic that it's almost impossible for you guys not to make money. I mean, like literally almost impossible for you guys not to make money. If you can't make money on Amazon, then you shouldn't be selling. All right. And the tools that AMZ Scout provides only intensifies that. It's gonna, I promise you, I've been using AMZ Scout for a long time, for years, guys. These products are the sole reason why I'm so successful, why I was able to do over $1 million on Amazon. Like, I'm not kidding. And with the traffic that Amazon gets, you guys can do the same thing, you know. But if you still need more proof, I mean, look at it. Amazon is the largest online retailer in the entire world. Okay, they're doing billions in revenue. Jeff Bezos actually just got superseded by Bill Gates as the richest man in the world. But you know, I mean, he's worth over $100 billion. You know, there's more than 140,000 third-party sellers making over 100K on Amazon alone, right? That's a lot of people. You know, you have the opportunity to get in, carve out your particular niche, and make $100,000. You know, it's not that difficult. You know, you just have to be prepared to put in that work, right? And with Q4 is one of those times that sales ramp up. You're doing double, triple, just massive amounts of money when you have the right products and you have the right strategies. And that's what I'm going to show you guys today. You know, some of the products you can use and some of the strategies that you can use to get those sales. All right, so let's talk about what you guys are going to be learning, right? So you obviously want to learn something. Now, why should you be selling on Amazon? Okay, you know, this is the best way to generate cash flow. You know, short of a lottery win, you know, there's really no better place to make money. You know, I'm going to show you guys how to avoid wasting your time and money. You know, using the right tools. You know, AMZ Scout, whether you're using the Chrome extension or the web app, I recommend getting them both. And we have a deal for you, so that way you can get both at a discount. Trust me, you're gonna want to use them big time. And then we're going to figure out what method is right for you, whether you're going to be going a private label route or the wholesale route. You know, it's a big deal, you know, very, very big deal when it comes to selling, you know, on Amazon. You do have to pick a method, and you can't just, you know, go in willy-nilly if you don't know all the details. And, you know, we're going to figure out how to turn your products into, you know, basically into a gold mine. All right. You know, we're going to turn your products into a business, right? So, you know, a 7-figure business like I did. And then we want to shorten the time that it takes for you to be successful. Okay. You know, so I did all this hard work. You know, I know how to do it. You know, I've been on the Amazon platform for roughly 6 years now. You know, I've seen a lot of things come and go. I've seen a lot of the changes. You know, I've seen people get suspended over the smallest things, but we're going to avoid that, you know, tonight. I don't want you guys, you know, catching that. You know, so let's talk about which method is going to suit you best. Now, some of you guys may have heard of a method called retail arbitrage, and that's where you go to like a big retailer. You may go to Walmart, you know, get something on discount, you know, any number of things. And while that works, the margins aren't necessarily the best. Okay, so with wholesale, you know, you're going to be dealing with established brands that already have really high sales ranking on Amazon. You know, so the sales are going to come easier. You're not going to have to work for them whatsoever. There's going to be a higher volume because the sales ranks are higher, so they're selling more often. You're just going to be competing for buy box space basically. And the margins are higher than retail arbitrage. And in some cases, the profit margins may be the same percentage as something from retail arbitrage, but the products sell for infinitely higher. So you're going to be making more money per product overall. And then there's private label, which you guys should know about if you're going to be selling on Amazon. That's where you build your own brand. You have your own selling strategy, which is nice. It's not something that you can do with wholesale because those products are already established and those brands are already there. And, you know, with private label, it's scalable. That's the most important thing. It's scalable on or off Amazon. So you can take that brand and put it on Shopify or WooCommerce, something like what we have with our car shop, Speed Circuit. And you can use what's called third-party fulfillment in order to get more sales, right? And so now we're going to talk about some of those secrets. Okay, let's get into that. You know, we're going to talk about wholesale first, and we're going to see how to find good products. And you know, we want to find things that people are that are already selling and that people are passionate about. Okay, you don't want to reinvent the wheel. You don't want to try to do all these ridiculous things. You just want to get to it. You want to make your money, be good to go. All right. we want to find good suppliers, people that are, well, I can't say people, but companies that are going to make sure that you get the best prices on your products, get them moved out quickly. And then we want to target future customers. Okay. So you want to find products where, you're able to, to make money, first and foremost. That's the whole goal. Okay. Let's see, let's check these questions out real quick. Sorry, guys. And let's see, we're going to try to get this wholesale growth formula going. But before we do that, let's go ahead. Let's answer some of these questions. Sorry, there we go. Oh, yeah. So, Julia, let's go ahead. I'm sorry, I just now saw your question. Let's talk about this. It is possible to be on the first page if you're a new seller. Okay, so when it comes to wholesale, you're going to be selling items that already have a really, really high sales rank. So you're going to be competing for buy box space. Typically, you're going to be selling products that are already on that front page. Okay, so you don't have too much to worry about in that regard. All right, so you can make money. Now, when it comes to private label, that's a little different. Private label, you're not going to be on the first page right away without a really strong launch strategy, and it's going to take a second for you to get there. Okay, so you have to be mindful about that. So I'm going to talk about some of those strategies as well. But yes, it is possible. And Bonita, yeah, you can actually. So since you already have a seller account that you've already been paying for, if you're paying the $39.99, which is for the professional sellers account, which is what you have to have if you're going to be taking this seriously, you can get started. I'm going to show you how to get started with good products, right? So we're going to go through that in a second. Actually, I'm going to show you guys some of the products that you should be focusing on for wholesale, and a couple things that you can focus on with private label, and how to find those with the Amzscout platform, whether that be the Chrome extension or the web app. But I recommend getting both. You guys can see here, typically these products together are almost $400. If you go here, go to this link, and you put in this promo code, you're going to get them for a massive discount. It's going to be $100 off. So you guys go there. I'm going to show you how to use these, and you're going to be just fine. All right. But hold on, it's going to get good. So let's talk about some of this, right? Now, when it comes to making consistent monthly sales, but wholesale, I typically want to see items that are doing 50 to 100 sales per month. Less than that, you're going to have to rely on, high margins, because you're going to have to find products that are selling outrageously well. And they may only sell 1, 2, 3, 4 times a month, but you're going to have to make so much money off those products that it's going to be almost impossible for you to really make any type of cash when it comes to that. Because Amazon, despite popular belief, is a cash flow business when you do it properly. Okay, and that's what we're trying to get here. We're trying to get you guys to have a cash flow business. All right. So, you also want to have a reputable brand. You don't just want to, go into any type of wholesale situation and, hope for the best. All right. That just doesn't work. You need a brand that people know, that people trust. Okay. And you want to have sales rankings of roughly 350,000 or lower. So the lower the number, the higher the sales rank. So sales rank of 1 would be really, really nice. But 350,000 or lower, you're typically going to do pretty well. Okay, that's going to be the most important thing for you. All right, and outside of that, you also want to talk about volume versus profits. Okay, so high volume items are going to be much lower profit, and slower moving are going to be higher profit margins. Okay, now you can get away with having slower moving products as long as you have a really good margin, and that's going to be important moving forward. I'm going to show you guys why. All right, so take a look at this, right? These are Craftsman's tools, and pretty much everyone out there has heard of Craftsman. If you've gone to Sears before Sears got ready to close down, you've seen Craftsman's tool maybe at at a car shop, or maybe Home Depot, Lowe's, places like that. Craftsman is a big brand, and as you can see here, the reviews are really nice. You're looking at 4.5 stars typically for most of the products. This is a brand that people know, that people trust, and that's what's most important. Okay, you need to make sure that you have a brand that is trustworthy, So when people go to purchase, it's not something that they think about. It's something that they already know. They're like, I know this brand, I trust this brand, I am going to go buy. And you want to make sure that the sales ranking is really high. So craftsmen typically have a really high sales rank. All right. So, these are some of the tools here. And if you guys notice down here in the left, you see the niche score, and this is the Amzscout Pro Chrome extension. And with this little niche score will tell you the breakdown for craftsman products. You'll see that the profit may be a little lower on this end, mainly because the products are a little bit more expensive. But when it comes to wholesale, that's okay. That's going to be the important thing. You don't necessarily have to have massive profits when you're doing wholesale because the products are going to sell on their own, as opposed to private label where you have to rank up and get your product seen. Now it's saying very undesired prices. Now when it comes to private label, yes, these are undesired prices. You don't want to be selling things with your private label brand that are too expensive, but we'll get into that. And the demand is really high. The sales are fantastic for this. Fantastic. Craftsmen generally, you'll sell hundreds, if not thousands per month, depending on how many items you source, or maybe if you just source one, it'll be in the hundreds. And the niche is old. Obviously, I mean, Craftsman tools have been around for a while, and these listings have been around for quite some time. And you'll see the competition, right now it's strong, but that's because you're going to be competing for buy box space. There's going to be multiple sellers on these listings. When it comes to wholesale, it's not going to be your own listing, guys. You're going to be competing for buy box space. And that can be a pain, but with the right tools, you're going to be just fine. Okay, trust me on that. You will be just fine. And then you'll see that it's an unsaturated niche. You'll be competing with a few of the same sellers on those. You'll have very low top brand competition. Very few reviews because for whatever reason, most people aren't reviewing Craftsman tools. They just know that these tools are great. And you'll see some of these are low quality listings, but these aren't your listings, right? So when you're creating a private label brand, you can take a look at these listings, like let's say a private label tool brand. You can take a look at these listings and implement something better, something way better. These would just be decent examples of what not to do. There's decent, average ratings. When it comes to private label, you want to make a product listing that looks better than this. Amazon is obviously going to be on these listings, so some of them may not move as quickly because Amazon will be basically driving the price down for them in order to get those sales, but they do run out of stock. There's other listings where Amazon is not on, and you'll just be competing with other sellers, featured merchants that are doing pretty well for themselves. And then obviously this is monopolistic, just for the sheer fact that it's Craftsman's tool, and there's a lot of people that have been around for a while. So trust me, you'll be just fine. We're going to see why. Now, so let's take a look at the Amzscout Chrome extension and what some of these things mean here. So you'll see that there's 58 results, and then the average monthly sales roughly 282. So if you look at the top here, this is going to give you a breakdown of this particular niche, so to speak. You're going to see the average sales price, the average sales rank, which is really nice here. Like I said, you want to have a sales rank of 350,000 or lower in order to get some decent sales. You don't have to be super low, but it does help to have higher sales ranks, right? And you'll see the reviews. Now the reviews are much lower, and this is basically when people are buying wholesale items or things like this, they're not really leaving reviews. Okay, you can see here the saturation score. This will tell you how many sellers have been checking these out, how many sellers have been looking for this particular niche. And then here's the niche score of 6, which is decent. It's not the greatest, but when it comes to private label, not the greatest. Wholesale is a little bit different, and we're going to break down why. But first, let's go ahead. Let's ask a couple questions, answer a couple questions for you. Hey, Martha, how you doing? Okay, so the buy box is really important on 2 fronts, right? When you're doing private label, it's important because it allows you to get that one click, boom, buy box, and it helps you because you'll be able to run PPC. Without the buy box for your private label products, you cannot run PPC. Very important, okay? Very important. You'll get it eventually with your private label products, but not right away in most cases unless you're doing FBA. All right, so with private label, important, but more or less for PPC purposes and for you to get that one click, okay? When it comes to wholesale, it's important because you're going to be competing with other sellers on those listings. And when you have the buy box, when someone clicks, it automatically counts for you and you get credit for that sale. If you don't have the buy box, then you have to click and check out other sellers and all that, and it can be kind of a pain. Okay. Hey, Clyde, how you doing, my man? So you've been using Amzscout Pro for the trial period and you found some great products with low competition, but you're having a hard time finding the wholesaler or distributor that you can buy from. Okay, so depending on the niche that you get into, will dictate which wholesalers you're going to use. Okay, so I'm actually going to show you one of the wholesalers that I use for some of my geek related products. So hopefully that'll help you out. But what you want to do, depending on which products, will dictate which wholesale supplier you're going to go with. Now, if this is for wholesale, then you're going to have to do a little bit more research. When it comes to private label, probably not as much. You're going to be able to basically go to Alibaba or some place like that and work with suppliers and get your packaging done and stuff like that. So Alibaba or DHgate is a really good place to check out as well if you can't find it on Alibaba. Okay. Oh man, I see a good chunk of you guys in here. Just want to say, welcome. Hopefully you guys, have tons of questions. I'll be answering them throughout, throughout the webinar. So go ahead and ask them. I'll stop from time to time just to help you guys out. But yeah, so let's go ahead and continue here. So as I was saying, the top part is where you're going to see a lot of the information for, for the niche. And then over here, you'll see like the actual, the product name, the brand, product score. Now, obviously higher is better. How many sellers are on each listing? Now with wholesale, there's going to be multiple sellers on these listings. So, keep that in mind. You don't want to necessarily jump on a listing that has, 100 sellers or even 30 sellers. You want to kind of keep it, below that. I'd personally recommend, 10 or below, but as a new seller, you don't really have that experience just yet. So if you find something that's good and you think that you can compete, then maybe 15 at the most. But when it comes to FBA, you have to be certain because you're going to be paying for those products and having them shipped into an Amazon warehouse. All right. Now, some people will say wholesale drop shipping, which is something that I do, but it's not necessarily, white hat when it comes to Amazon. So take that with a grain of salt as well. Now, you can see the price for all these items here. This is $99, $227, $49, $299, and $34, $21. Now, a lot of these prices are not going to be impulse buys. People are going to purchase because they know what they want. When it comes to wholesale, you're not necessarily wanting impulse buys. You're wanting people that are versed in the product niche and the products that you're going to be offering. That's what you care most about. Okay, you want those people. It doesn't necessarily matter the price because these people are going to be purchasing from you, just for the sheer fact that they want that product. All right, and then you can see the breakdown of your FBA fees here. So there's I'll show you the calculator in a second, but you'll see the FBA fee, so that way you can kind of, check out the profits before you even get into the product. You can see the net margin here. This is just a breakdown between like price, FBA fees, and so on. And then here, these are the estimated sales for these products each month. 971 is a ton. So there's a lot of room for you to get some sales here. Estimated revenue, this is $96,000 a month, guys. Like, it's a pretty big deal. $96,000 here, $135,000 here, $10,000. This is why wholesale is good for a lot of people who may not know how to get into private label. Wholesale listings will generally just skyrocket, right? You'll have tons and tons and tons of sales. You get the buy box, you're just going to be selling all day. And most people, when it comes to wholesale, they don't do FBA. They'll do like wholesale drop shipping, which is kind of against Amazon's terms of service. But if you do wholesale FBA, you have the opportunity to get the buy box quicker than someone who has been selling on a platform for a little while. Okay. Also here we go, there's a number of reviews. As you can see here, the reviews aren't that high because these are wholesale items. People generally don't leave a ton of reviews for wholesale items because they already know. Most of the time, if they leave reviews, it's going to be negative or something like that. Oh, I had a bad experience or whatever. I mean, sometimes you get good reviews, but for the amount of items that are sold, the reviews just aren't very, very high. And that's just the way it's going to be with wholesale. Okay. And then you have the revenue per review. So you'll see here, with this the top listing, this $1,200, almost $1,300 per review. Okay, so it's really not that bad. It's actually pretty good. There's not a ton of reviews, but you see the money being made. And then here's the rating. It's 4.5 stars, 4.2 stars, 4.5 stars. These are good products to get into. The LQS, this is saying this is a listing, the listing rating, like the lower the number, the worse the listing is. The higher the number, the better the listing is. And then it'll show you the available from date and the seller, whether that's Amazon, the merchant, or like FBA, fulfilled, so on. All right, let's go ahead and answer a couple more questions. Hey, Shant, how you doing? For private label, do you need to trademark anything? As in your brand, in this case, when you have your own brand, okay, so when you're doing private label, typically you will be your only seller. Okay, now until you do trademark your company and brand, you won't get an Amazon storefront. So an Amazon storefront is what looks really, really, sexy, so to speak. It's if you look at Zhou Nutrition, ZHOU, they have an Amazon storefront. So it's basically a website within Amazon to showcase your products. You won't get that unless you're trademarked, and a trademark in the US is around 10 to 12 months. It took me about a year for me to get trademarked for my brand. So it takes a while, but most of the time you're not going to have other sellers on your products, and if you do, those hijackers can be removed. You go to Amazon, and you guys will work it out through there. It's kind of a pain, but it does work. Yo, what's up, Russell? So the Chrome extension, you can make money with the Chrome extension, solely. That's fine. I recommend using the Chrome extension, but it works better in conjunction with the web app. And the reason why is because even though the Chrome extension is nice, you do need to be able to find your good keywords. Like I said before at the beginning, you're going to need to be able to do your titles, your bullet points, your keywords, your backend search terms. The web app has a ton of tools that'll help you. You can actually take the ASIN from some of the top sellers, put that into the web app, and I'm going to show you that in a bit, and it'll show you exactly what those search terms are, so you can use those in your listings so you can make that money. Okay. Hey, Stanley, you recently joined Amazon. You became a student. Hey, what's up? It's nice. Nice to see a student in here. So the European market is different than the US market. Okay. There's more traction on the US market as opposed to the European markets, and the products are going to be different. All right, so what sells in America doesn't always correlate to like Amazon CA or Amazon, what is it, DE, if I'm not mistaken. So you're going to have to look at your particular market. If you want to sell in a European market, then you're going to have to look at the European market. You're going to have to do your product research for there, because the US market and the European market are not the same. The Australian market and the European market are not the same. The Canadian market and the Japanese markets are not the same. So it's going to be a little difficult to say, hey, this is what works for America, this is what works for Canada, so it's going to work for Europe. So I'm going to, the strategies that I teach you guys, they work all around, but you're going to have to be more tailored to your specific Amazon platform. Okay, so let's get back to it now. As you can see here, Craftsman's been trending. Sorry guys, I was answering a couple questions, but you can see the Craftsman trend hasn't really died down. You don't want to get into wholesale items that trend up really, really high and then plummet. It's just not a good thing. It's just not pretty. Okay. It just don't like, just trust me on this. You do not want to do that at all. You just don't. You want to get something that is pretty consistent, because when it's trending, it comes up, you get tons of sales, and then just flat lines and you're not making any more money. It's just, that's actually really bad. That's terrible. So now, as you can see here, let's go ahead and just put this in. So, one of the suppliers, has a price of $125 for this. So if you look here, it's the Craftsman, V20 handheld blower. Now, you're not always going to get these really good prices. You're going to have to do a lot of work with your wholesale suppliers. You can either go directly to Craftsman and set up a wholesale distribution deal with them. Sometimes, wholesale suppliers will require you to place a buy-in. So you may have to place an order of $1, $2, $3, $4, $5,000 to get in with them. But remember, wholesale items are going to sell no matter what. Okay, if you follow the strategies, you're going to be perfectly fine. You're going to sell, because most people are doing what's considered wholesale drop shipping as opposed to wholesale FBA, because it is, cost prohibitive, because you have to buy those products up front. But as you can see here, the product price for this is $186. The profit calculator can be brought up here. You just click the little arrow, and it'll drop down and give you, as a you can track it, give you the profit calculator, finding it on Alibaba or find it at Google. So this right here costs 186 bucks, and the product costs $125. Okay, so the weight, and it'll give you the dimensions for the most part. The monthly storage fees, if there are going to be any, if you're not selling, the pick and pack, referral fees, and then the estimated sales for this particular item. So this is around 200 items per month. Remember what I said before, 50 to 100 items per month. You don't want anything much lower than that, because it's going to be very difficult to turn a profit. All right, with wholesale, it's typically going to be all about doing volume. Okay, volume is going to be really important when it comes to wholesale. Moving like 1 or 2 products a day just isn't going to cut it in most cases. All right, but the profit per unit is almost 10%, so it's $18. Now the net margin is almost 10%, it's 9.75. So that's actually not too bad for wholesale. You can do better depending on which niche, but you may get products that move a little bit slower. Okay, so you can see here your estimated monthly profit will be around $3,600. Now I know a lot of people will say, oh well, I want to make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month. That's fine, but with wholesale, you're not going to be tied to just one product as you would be with private label, because with private label, you typically pick one product and then you launch that, get that set up, scale it, and then you rinse and repeat. Whereas with wholesale, you can get a bunch of products at one time and then boom, send them all into Amazon, or wholesale drop ship them, as most big sellers do. And this number right here actually drops, because now you're not doing a pick and pack. You're actually drop shipping directly from supplier to customer. Okay, so that pretty much eliminates that, so your margins actually go up even more. So now you're doing more volume and your margins are higher, which is why I love wholesale. All right, so now let's take a look at this right here, the Craftsman's 20-piece drive set. And this is just to show how you can make roughly the same amount of money selling different products, different wholesale products. Now, whether that be something that costs $180 something or something that costs roughly $40, as long as you get a good price, you can make roughly the same amount of money, even though you'll have to sell a little bit more for this. Now, the margins are a little bit smaller. The profit per unit is smaller with these, right? So remember, $180 per month, you were $180 per item, you were doing roughly $18. Now this is almost 40 bucks and you're making $5 per, which isn't bad, guys, which isn't bad at all when it comes to wholesale. And then, still doing $3,000, each month. Okay, so you're gonna have to decide, do you want to do more volume, or do you want to do bigger items that generate more profit? Now, this is another thing here. Now, you're gonna have to get approval to sell in this particular niche, but Funko Pops move like crazy. The margins are very slim on them unless you can get the best price. And you're typically going to be buying these by the case. You're not going to be drop shipping these at all. You're going to be buying these in bulk. They come by the case, due to most suppliers not selling them solo, because if you're going to get into this, they already know the margins are small. You're going to want to be competitive. All right, you got to be competitive. So you're going to have to buy these in bulk, but they sell like crazy. I'm going to show you the breakdown. All right, these are insane, absolutely insane. Like, here we go, the Millennium Falcon, right? So this is the Millennium Falcon Funko Pop. I love Han Solo, I love Star Wars, by the way. If you couldn't tell, I'm a huge nerd. But Funko Pops, look at these sales, guys. Look at these numbers. $2,500 here. I mean, 2,500 sales. 770 sales. This is Lego here. It's 1,500. But the Funko Pikachu, the waving Pikachu is 1,500, 1,600 here. Charmander, 1,600. Bulbasaur, 1,400. Like, these are big sales, guys. Big sales. And even though the margins are slim, you're going to be doing volume. All right. So like I said before, you're either going to be wanting more profit per item or do more volume. All right. So if you look at the revenue breakdown, these are things that you can make money with. You can make a lot of money with these items. You just have to make sure that you get in at a very good price. I'm going to show you one of my wholesale suppliers for these actually that you can break in with. You know, as you can see here, the saturation score is still very low. Most people aren't even looking for these because they don't know that they can get into wholesale like that. The niche score, still decent because most people aren't necessarily looking for it. The sales are good. The reviews are pretty low for what they are. And the average sales rank still pretty high, you know, and the average sales per month, over 600 sales per month, guys. Like that's pretty good when it comes to a wholesale item. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's answer a quick question right here. Oh snap. Okay. Hey John. So can you invest with only 500? It's going to be very difficult to get into wholesale with only $500. Okay. I'm going to be honest with you. It's very, very, very tough. You could probably get into the Funko Pops with $500, which isn't too bad. You could buy quite a few cases of Funko Pops with $500. But the problem is going to come in where you have to reinvest all that money back into your business. There's no way that you're going to be able to avoid that, unfortunately. You're going to be spending a lot of money, to make that happen. So you'll have to be on the ball with that, you know. And I'm sorry, but $500 is going to be very difficult when it comes to wholesale. Now with private label drop shipping, $500 is actually more than enough, and I'm going to show you why. I'm going to break that down for you. Katarina, no, it's not too late. You know, it's not too late to sell on Amazon. It's never too late to sell on Amazon, guys. Never too late. There's actually more buyers than there are sellers on Amazon every single day. You have the opportunity to make a ton of money. I mean, an absolute ton of money, not a little bit of money, a ton of money. Okay. Hundreds of thousands of Amazon sellers are making over 100K. Like, anyone can do it, guys. Anyone can do it. You just have to want it bad enough. Okay. So, you know, guys, get the Amzscout products. Like, no joke. I mean, I'm going to be hooking one of you guys up with a hour-long Skype call with me, and then I'm going to be giving out Amazon gift cards to the other 4. All right, so get it while you can, guys. You know, they're knocking off $100 to help you out to get the web app and the Chrome extension. Believe me, when it comes to private label, you need both. You're going to need both of those. You need to be able to do effective keyword research. You need to be able to do effective product research. There's no way around it. If you think you can get around this with doing private label, I'm just going to find a good product and not have good backend search terms or build a proper listing, you're pretty much already dead in the water. Trust me, I've seen it. People try to cut corners all the time, and a bunch of YouTubers will tell you, oh, you don't need all that stuff. Just, you know, find something that fits in the shoebox that costs, you know, $2 and all this. There's more to selling on Amazon than that. Believe me, you don't want to risk it. Leave nothing to chance. All right, now let's break down the price for the Millennium Falcon, right? So with 770 sales coming in, you know, the product cost is $43. Now this product right here is kind of cost prohibitive. Most people aren't going to be able to get into it. They're not going to be able to afford to buy, you know, the hundreds necessary at this price. Like, you know, but if you do have enough capital, getting into wholesale and getting to, you know, an item like this is actually pretty good. You know, where you're making, you know, $5 per unit, you know, kind of like the Craftsman, you know, tools, you know, but you're doing so many sales per month that it kind of offsets the price, right? You know, making $4,000 profit isn't bad. You know, that is someone's full-time, you know, paycheck in most cases, sometimes even more than that. Okay. And this could just be off one item. You just have to have the capital to get into wholesale. You know, drop shipping an item like this is just not going to be worthwhile because you're not going to be able to see the true profits on that because you're not going to be able to get them cheap enough. These are items that you're going to have to buy in bulk more often than not. All right, but let's go into the little Pikachu, the waving Pikachu. You know, Pikachu's not bad, man. It's 1,500 sales a month. 1,500 sales a month. I mean, I would definitely recommend this for someone who is starting off and they just want to get experience selling on the Amazon platform. You're not necessarily trying to make a killing. You're just trying to figure out how Amazon works and make a little money in the process. Funko Pops are a very good way to do that. You can get approval. You can go directly to Funko themselves, get approval to be a wholesaler. Or a reseller, you're going to need an LLC because they won't do business with you unless you have a business license, and then you'll need a resale certificate unless you're out of a state that doesn't have sales tax, like Delaware, you know, like a state sales tax, like Delaware, and I do believe like Wyoming, Nevada, places like that. But let's go ahead and put these in. So, Pikachu selling at $10.99. You're getting Pikachu if you buy by the case at $4.62, maybe a little more depending on how many or how few you buy. The FBA fee is $4.97. So, it really cuts into profits, and your profit per unit is small, right, at $1.40. But like I said, this is a product that can help you increase your sellers ranking, get you, more 5-star reviews, and in turn put a little money in your pocket. Just really teach you how to get started selling on Amazon, how to make your money in the beginning, because selling on Amazon is pretty difficult. All right, it's not something that you're just going to pick up and run with in most cases. All right, and as you can see here, man, BBCW is a place that I personally, get toys from. Okay, like when my geek related stores, I purchase from here. I obviously purchase a lot. I purchase more than most people, and I have a really good standing relationship with them. And then you can go and talk like, hey, once you have a good relationship going with your wholesale suppliers, you can start negotiating prices. It just because they say it's one price doesn't mean it's going to be that one price. If you have a long-standing relationship with them, you can start saying like, hey, I've placed this amount. I've placed an order for 1,000, items before. Like, can you do better on the next one? Or, can we work something with the shipping? Or can we do this and this? That's what it's going to be all about. BBCW is a great supplier. They've been around a very long time. They do a fantastic business. I've never had an issue with them whatsoever. And they usually send out, flyers that'll show you the latest products coming. So you can already be ahead of the game. You can pre-order and have them ready to go and ship to Amazon, for FBA as soon as they hit. So definitely check these people out. They're absolutely fantastic. I highly, highly recommend them. All right. These are people that I personally use, and without them, I would have had a very, very tough time, breaking into some of the toy niches. All right. Now let's get into the private label, guys. Private labels. You guys can see here, man. Check out their promo code. Get AMZ Scout while you can, guys. Trust me, you need it. All right. I've been using this a long time. AMZ Scout has saved my bacon more often than not before I got into a terrible private label product. All right. So when it comes to private label, we're going to be talking about how to find a profitable niche. And AMZ Scout actually has tools to help you find a profitable niche. Like, no joke, you can find products just by clicking one button. I'm going to show you guys. And unlike wholesale, it's not going to be about the product. It's going to be about the niche and what products are inside that niche, and how you're going to be able to compete against those sellers. And you want to find the perfect supplier. Most people are going to be going to Alibaba, but there's suppliers within Alibaba, right? You want to find a really good supplier because they're going to be your lifeline. They're going to be handling everything from packaging to labeling, and potentially doing like custom packaging for you. So it's very important that you find someone that's been around. I recommend finding someone who's been in the game at least a year. For a beginner, at least a year, where they're growing and you can grow with them. Like a more established seller on like places like Alibaba, they're going to be a little less inclined to work with you because they already have the business. Everybody's already going to them. They already see that these people have been in business for 5 years. So they're going to go directly to them. But someone who's been around for a year, they want more business. They're trying to get to that big dog status, and they'll be able to work with you to, do like smaller orders and, custom packaging, with fewer quantity. And then, with private label, you can do something that you can't do with wholesale, and that's scale your customer base, whether that be on Amazon or off Amazon. You can do it through promotions. You can do that through creating your own website, collecting email data, the whole nine. You can't really do that with wholesale, right? Wholesale, it's cash flow. It's money in, money out. Whereas with private label, you're trying to build a brand and have that brand be sustainable for the long haul. That's what's going to be most important. Okay. And with the private label growth formula, you want something that's generally lightweight, guys, and I know everyone says like, oh, the shoebox. The shoebox is kind of the standard rate for a beginner. Now, for a beginner, I wouldn't recommend you going all out, right? I wouldn't recommend you getting all crazy and trying to do all these different things, because most people are going to try. They're going to try to find off the wall products and this and that. You want to kind of go with something that works. You don't want things that are too heavy, because the FBA fees will eat you up, and the shipping is going to eat you up. You won't be able to ship by air if the product is too heavy. You're going to have to ship by sea, and that takes a while. You have to worry about logistics and freight forwarders and all that stuff. So, as a beginner, you don't have that skill set yet. I would just definitely recommend going with something that's, lighter than 5 pounds and something that can fit within the area of a shoebox or like a laptop, like a 15-inch MacBook Pro. You want something with moderate competition, but not too crazy competition, maybe around 125 reviews on average. You don't want to see anything too crazy. Like if all the top sellers, like the top 10 all have 1,000 reviews, you're probably not going to do very well in that particular niche. You're probably going to flounder and just fail overall. It's not a good look, right? You want more solo sellers on those listings. So if you go to a niche and you see a bunch of sellers, a bunch of those items have like 3, 4, 5 sellers on them, it's probably not going to be good. That means there's a bunch of hijackers, and you don't want hijackers on your listing, because it does happen, guys. If you have a really profitable private label item, there will be hijackers, trying to sell knockoff versions of your product, or maybe even ordering from you and fulfilling them themselves, right? And you want more FBA sellers than Amazon sellers, right? You don't want to get into a niche where Amazon kind of dominates, and that would be more wholesale anyway. But Amazon still does get into a space and kind of take it over with their Amazon basics, and you don't want to compete with Amazon basics, because the way you're going to be competing is through price, and it's just not good. And when it comes to profit margins, you want typically 20% margins after all your costs and fees. Okay. You don't want to just be peddling product. You don't want to, make like 2%. All right. So this includes like with your PPC, your launch strategy, shipping, the product cost, FBA fees, the whole nine. You still want to make 20% net. Okay. That's what I shoot for. I typically will not shoot for less than 20% with a private label product, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's a waste of your time and a waste of everyone else's time as well. You're basically just selling for peanuts, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to compromise yourself and put in all this hard effort and get nothing out of it. And then you want to sell for $10 minimum. Now, typically, you'd want to be shooting for 15, 15 at the low end and then moving up. But as a new seller, most people tend to start driving their price down. If you're at $10, you're not going to be able to drive your price down any more than that. So that'll keep you honest and keep you from trying to just sell like, oh my God, I'm going to lower my price to whatever, and not make any money, not make any profit. $10 minimum, you're not going to be able to move that price too much. You're going to have to really sit there and come up with a good selling strategy. Okay. Again, guys, there's a code. If you guys didn't know, it's in the chat box as well. Check it out. Click the link. It'll take you over to purchase the web app and the Chrome extension, and you get a huge discount, guys. Like, remember, I'm also giving out gift cards, Amazon gift cards of that, because this is what we're talking about. And one lucky person will be able to sit on a Skype call with me for an hour, pick my brain. I'm going to help you get up and running with either a wholesale item or private label items. We're going to go through, we're going to find suppliers, get your packaging done if necessary. When it comes to private label, just do everything we can to get you to be successful, and show you how to use Amzscout the way that I use it, because I have my own little tips and tricks. All right, now as you guys can see here, this is actually a product that most people wouldn't even look at. Now you can see this is a 9 on the niche on the niche score, which is pretty good. As you can see here, there's not too many crazy reviews. This is what, 141 here, 55, 56. Minimum $10. Some are selling for more. They're usually 2 packs that are selling for that much. But this is artificial garland, eucalyptus garland. And this would be for people who, looking to spice up with some decorations around the house, things like that. But as you can see here, guys, like, it's a pretty good one. It's a 9. We're going to break down the numbers right now. This, you can find it here. So keep this in mind, guys. $2.89 for 1,000 bags. For 1,000 bags of this, $2.89. Remember this. $2.89. You probably can get this shipped by air, because the product is so light. You'll probably be able to get this shipped by air for $4 total per bag. Probably even less than that if you know how to haggle. Like this company right here, they haven't been around a very, very long time. They've been around a year. Okay, they have a pretty good response rate. 5 stars. This is what you want to see. It's a new seller, and you're a new seller. And you can probably work with these guys. You can say, hey, I'm opening up, you never want to say I. You always want to say we. You know, you want to refer to your company and yourself as a we. You know, seem more more important than what you are. Because even though you're new, you know, this is a business. You're building a business and you're trying to do business with someone who wants to do business with you. All right. And you go to them and you're like, hey, look, this is what I'm trying to do, blah, 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 blah. You know, I'd like to ship door to door, you know, by air. They'll probably ship through DHL or something like that. And, you know, can we do this? Like, what does your packaging look like? You know, can we work out, you know, some custom packaging? You go to Fiverr, you know, find someone who can, you know, come up with some cool packaging. You know, your supplier can give you dimensions. You know, maybe it comes in a plastic bag and you want to screen print your logo or something on there. You know, all types of things can be done. You just have to make sure that you are on the ball, you know, and working with your supplier. Okay, you can't just, you know, go about it all willy-nilly. Like, you're trying to establish a business relationship. Okay, trust me on that. Like, you know, you've got to you gotta be on it. All right. So now let's go ahead and let's answer a couple more questions. Let's see. Yo, Ali, all right, my man. So when you start, what order quantity do you recommend? It's going to depend on the product, right? So this right here, for me, as you can see here, this item, I would probably start with 500 bags. All right, I'd probably start with 500 bags, just because the sales are going to look really good. And I'm going to show you these sales, and I'll show you why I would start with 500 bags, just because, you know, it's important to see the numbers behind everything. You know, what's the net profit for my wholesale FBA items, Madi? So it depends on what niche you're going to be in, but typically for good wholesale items, you're looking at 20% plus. You know, anywhere between 20 to 40%. If you're looking for volume, volume only, it's going to be around 10 to 15. You know, which you know, more or less, you know, it can vary depending on the items and the pricing. Uh, Angel, can you start off with online arbitrage and work your way to private label? You can, but it's not advised. So that's against Amazon's terms of service. If you didn't know already, most people are getting suspended, you know, doing that method, you know, going from Walmart and so on. I would not recommend going with online arbitrage right off the bat, because it's a much more difficult way to go. There's a lot more IP violations and there's things that you don't know. And the margins are very slim. So uh, save up your money, get into, you know, either wholesale or private label. And wholesale is probably, you know, I mean, preferably that would be the way that I would go for a beginner, if you couldn't, you know, source private label products on your own. Chance, you've also occasionally seen multiple sellers on private label listings. Yeah, it does happen. It does happen, and that's why I was saying you don't want to see too much of that. These are hijackers, right? So there'll be hijackers on those listings, and what you'll do is you'll go to Amazon or go to that seller and be like, hey, look, you know, this is my listing, and there's methods to go about this. And what I would recommend for a beginner is, you know, you have your product, obviously, you purchase from them, and you go to Amazon and say, hey, this is my product. This is a product that they're selling. This is counterfeit, and then, you know, they'll get removed off your listing. Usually sending a cease and desist is a good way to go, and most people get scared right off the bat because you can't go to Amazon and get them removed. So Lana, to get reviews when you first start, there's ways. You can obviously request them. You know, you can send out a you know, like an email after someone purchases your private label product and be like, hey, you know, thank you for your purchase. You know, as a small company, you know, we really rely on, you know, honest feedback from our customers to get better and to grow. So if you wouldn't mind, could you please leave us a you know, your honest review of the product and us as a seller? And typically that does work. Not all the time. Most people are lazy. Like, I don't always leave reviews on Amazon. I purchase and I just kind of go about my business. I'm like, but you know, whatever. Yeah, that goes without saying. You know, I should be leaving reviews because I sell on Amazon. It's kind of crappy for me not to do so, but it is what it is. All right, guys, you know, sue me. Now let's go ahead and let's break this down. So as you guys can see here, you know, Deer House, right? This is Deer House. Now the average sales rank is 103,000, which is still pretty good. The sales rank for this Deer House artificial eucalyptus garland, this is the number 2. There's 3 sellers on it, which, you know, it's kind of a pain, but you know, just work with me here. You know, they're selling for $10.99. FBA fees are $4.16. You know, they're getting 3,700 sales per month, doing $40,000 in revenue. That's crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy money. And you can see here the saturation score. Now notice the saturation score is 10. That means people are looking for this particular product. All right. People have seen this. So if you don't get in quick, you're going to get hit with some pretty stiff competition. Now, let's look at the niche idea, right? So this tool right here, down in the bottom right, the niche idea with the little dice on it, you click that, and AMZ Scout Pro will show you a niche that you can potentially get into, on your own and start selling. AMZ Scout has a wealth of information, and even though the information here is viable, some people get really nervous. Some people are like, man, I don't know if this is a good product. What should I do? AMZ Scout Pro has something for you. You can click the niche idea, boom, and pop up with something like this that can help you make money. So if you're afraid to dabble into it on your own, you don't have to worry about that because AMZ Scout got you guys. I love their products. You guys will love their products too. Trust me on this. Like they've helped me make a lot of money. A lot of money. Doing $1 million on Amazon is very difficult, guys. Like I never thought I'd be doing it. And AMZ Scout Pro is one of the reasons why. Without this tool, I definitely wouldn't have been able to pull that off. Or find items like this to sell in order to be able to pull that off. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's break this down. Now, let's just say you got this for $4, which you definitely can, so we'll just say you got this $4 shipped door to door. You're selling this for $10.99, all right? Now, these numbers start looking a whole lot better when you're on the private label side, at least to most people. Now, private label is not going to be the way to go for everyone because not everyone is going to have the time and patience and money to get involved in this. Now, look at that. At $4, at $4 cost, that's shipping door to door. You're selling this for $10.99, for $11 basically, and you get that, out to Amazon for FBA. The pick and pack, fee, the referral fee, all this, you're looking at the total FBA fee of $4.16. Your total profit per unit is $2.83. For a cheaper product, this is not bad. All right, for a cheaper product that's $11, $2.83, it's pretty good. Pretty good. Your net margin, not bad. And your monthly profit is $10,000, people. 10 grand. 10 grand. Mind you, to get 1,000 of these, you were spending what, $2.89 per, and then after shipping door to door, you're probably spending $4, maybe even less than that, if you can finagle and work that out. But it also changes a lot of things down the line, guys. Okay, changes a lot of things when it comes to this will change when you get into like using third-party fulfillment, which is private label drop shipping, and that's what I'm primarily known for in the Amazon space. Private label drop shipping is FBA without the FBA, right? You're not sending it into an Amazon warehouse. Your supplier is sending it directly to the customer. So you're cutting out the FBA fee, right? Cutting that out altogether. So now that pick and pack fee, that $2.48, goes into your basically into the profit. So now you're making an extra almost $2.50. That changes everything substantially. So I put this into the calculator. Basically added that 248 to this. Now those numbers look a whole lot more appealing, don't they? When you're getting into private label drop shipping. Well, private label drop shipping, you just create your listing. You do everything that you would do with FBA minus sending it into Amazon. And in most cases, you don't even have to do all the custom packaging. Like, you just get your supplier together, you create a really, really good listing, and then you're like, all right, I'm about to sell. Boom. It goes from the supplier directly to the customer. And you can do this because it is within Amazon's terms of service. It is called third-party fulfillment. And in order to do this, you have to take ownership though, okay? It can't be, oh, we'll contact Amazon. You got to be the person that handles the customer service. You and your company. You have to be able to handle the returns. You have to be able to handle the product from beginning to end. So if your supplier's trash and customers aren't getting their products, you own that. That is you. That's not anyone else's fault. That is all you. So in order to do third-party fulfillment, which is basically private label drop shipping, you have to take ownership of that. You have to be mindful of your logistics. You have to be mindful of everything that's going on with that particular product. But look, These numbers go up a whole lot. You go from making $10,000 a month to making $18,000 a month when you cut out the FBA fee, when you're going directly from supplier to the customer. Now, it can get a little dicey when you're first starting off, but it's a really good way to test the market and see if the product is even viable. So if the product is good, then you can place a larger order and send that over for FBA, right? Now, it's a little bit more difficult to get sales because in a private label world, you're not going to have the buy box right off the bat unless you are going FBA. And FBA listings typically take priority, but you can still get sales. It just takes a little bit longer for Amazon to give you that natural traction. You know, they're going to be like, okay, well, this is an FBM listing, fulfilled by merchant. You know, I don't really know if this seller is all that great yet, so I'm not going to give them tons of traction. We're going to hold off and see. So you may have to be patient, but these numbers don't lie, guys. Like, this is what you can do. All right. And I'm not saying you're going to do that personally, but these are the types of numbers that you can do when you get into private label, you know, drop shipping or FBA even, you know, once you have high enough margins. So let's just say you set the price up higher. Let's just say, you know, this is what it was and you were doing FBA. You just raised your price to better reflect the cost and you know, get going there. So, I mean, this is it, guys. Like, you know, finding these little items, you know, these diamonds in a rough is what Amzscout Pro can do for you. You know, this is a diamond in a rough. Most people would never even consider this, but with this, with Amzscout Pro and their algorithm, they can find you products like this, and you can go, you know, source them from Alibaba at a really cheap price from suppliers that want to do business with you. And now you're making $18,000 as opposed to $10,000, right? You know, this is a really big deal, and I don't think you guys understand how big of a deal that is until you start trying to do product research on your own and you can't find, you know, good products. I'm telling you guys, get the tools. They will save your bacon time and time again, and they're going to help you make a ton of money. A ton of money. You know, if you can't make any money after using these tools, then Amazon isn't for you. Like, I can pretty much promise you that you'll make money using these tools, and you use them the way you're supposed to. Don't just go in here and be like, guys, $18,000. That's all you. And these are normal everyday people. This is not like some giant company. These are, you know, people like you and me, you know, selling on Amazon. You know, and here, right here, this is the product, the web app. You know, so the web app has all these different tools in there, guys. All these different tools. You know, you get the product database. You know, you can find, you know, the best products. You know, this is a tracker, so you can see which products you've researched. You can check to see all the data. You know, oh, how many sales they've had. All these things. You know, the keyword explorer, so you can, you know, find different keywords. The product keywords, which is really good. You can see here, I was, you know, getting ready to enter an ASIN from a competitor's listing. I just wanted to see. I'm like, what keywords are going to pop up? You know, and you know, see if I can, you know, kind of take some sales. I'm like, you know, maybe this, you know, this is something that this is something that I'm going to get into. And then, of course, you know, here's the other tool, the Chrome extension that I was showing you guys, which, you know, obviously get them in conjunction, guys. Get them in conjunction. It's pretty big deal. If you want to take your Amazon career seriously, you need really good tools. AMZ Scout is the way to go. Okay, all right, let's answer a couple more questions. Hey, Linda, how you doing? So what do you think about advertising on Amazon? It works, okay? So a lot of people say, oh, you know, run Facebook ads for Amazon, and it's terrible idea, okay? And I'm going to tell you why. Because it's expensive and you do not know your audience, right? You're going to basically be guessing and hoping that people are going to purchase your product, your Amazon product, using with Facebook ads. And on top of that, you have to have like an intermediary page, so that way you can collect the pixel data and all that. Amazon PPC is the way to go. Okay, Amazon owns the platform. They're going to make sure that their paid advertisement get your products in front of people. All those sponsored listings, that's all paid, you know, that's all PPC. And it's going to be as effective as you are at running your PPC, you know, campaigns. And, you know, that's not to say that, you know, you have to be super on top of it all the time, but as a new seller getting a new private label product out there, your A cost, which is the acquired cost of sale, is going to be fairly high because you're going to be running more PPC to get those sales. But as your sales rank naturally increases through those sales, your A cost is going to go lower, so you're not going to have to run near as much PPC. But trust me, PPC works. All right, when you're doing private label FBA, you 100% will be using PPC. Don't listen to people who say, oh, you don't have to use PPC. If you want to get consistent sales, you're going to be using PPC to help pump up your sales rank. With the garland, for example, do you literally source do I source and sell the exact same product that you're seeing on the Amazon listing? And do you try to change the product slightly? And how do you differentiate? Tom, very good question. Okay, so typically I will do my own product photography. I have a photographer here in out near Philadelphia, and he'll do product photography for me. I'll either bundle it with something. So let's say I'm selling like a book pack, like a backpack. I may couple that backpack with like a pencil case or something like that, or maybe a binder, or something that other sellers aren't going to be. That's how I differentiate myself. So if you see listings in certain categories that are bundled, it's probably some of my students or it's me myself, selling those products. So again, guys, like in order for me to differentiate myself, I don't try to necessarily reinvent the wheel. I just try to, make the wheel a little more enticing, right? So it would be the equivalent of having like factory wheels on the new Toyota Supra, or going out and buying a set of like Rota wheels or Inkai or something like that. All right, so that's how you differentiate yourself. You always want to give more value than the next seller. If they're selling just garland, you may want to sell a garland and something else, and obviously compensate for price. All right, next one. All right, Anthony. When ordering from a supplier and all about, how do you handle the customs process using a buy ship method? So typically that's all handled, by the supplier. I've never had an issue where an item got caught in customs. There's declarations that your supplier will go through, and typically it's quick and easy. Like DHL, that if they're shipping by air, that is going, within like 7 to 10 days. It's going from, let's say China or Pakistan, wherever, you're sourcing from, and going directly to Amazon. So you don't have to handle all that stuff. Your supplier will typically take care of that for you, with the declarations. So the PPC campaign, it's not going to be a typical cost, right? It could be more or less depending on the item and the niche. So all-in cost on the same, that's really, really tough one. That's really tough, right? In some cases, like I've had PPC campaigns that I started off with under auto, and then I run them for about 2 weeks and then cultivate my keywords from there. But that's one of the most basic ways to do it. It's one of the easiest ways to do it, by the way. I've had them where I might have spent 10 cents per click right off the bat, and I've had others where it's like 25 30 cents per click, and the A cost is pretty high based on that. So it can vary depending on the niche and the product. It's not just going to be a one size fits all. So I wish I could give you a better example, but that's just what it is. Count on yourself spending anywhere between I'd say like 10 to 30 something odd cents per click, and overall, depending on the product, like you could spend a couple dollars on PPC before you get a sale. So keep that in mind. Steve, what if you have your own product? Can you elaborate if you have your own product? Uh, you know, I mean, you wouldn't be shipping it to Amazon. Well, you wouldn't have a supplier ship it to Amazon. And if you have your own product, you could essentially do, merchant fulfilled. You could do merchant fulfilled Prime, which you can get Prime shipping if you have a good logistics setup. So if you can package and everything on your own and get FedEx to come to your house and ship everything out like every single day, you can get Prime shipping as merchant fulfilled. You just have to make sure you have really good logistics, because Amazon does not like people who do merchant fulfilled who cannot get those products out as quick as they can. All right, Shant, would you recommend going straight into private label drop shipping or do regular FBA first? And in general, what do you think determines buy box eligibility? No, like you will get the buy box, Shant. It's a time thing. Amazon wants to make sure that you're a decent seller first. They're not just going to give you the buy box day one, unless, I mean, you have an FBA product and they know you're going to be running PPC for it. But as someone who's going into private label drop shipping, who just started, you're not going to have the buy box right away. Typically you're going to be waiting 30 to 90 days to get the buy box, as long as your account's in good standing. I've seen some people get it, in 6 months, just depending on their sales history. It's kind of, up to Amazon at that point, but typically you'll see 30 to 90 days. If you don't have a lot of money, I would recommend going straight into private label drop shipping, just for the sheer fact that it's the cheapest option to get started, and the cheapest option to test the water. So if you don't know if a product is necessarily good, private label drop shipping is a good way to determine that. It's a good way to say, like, hey, I'm not 100% sold on this method or this product yet. Let me test it out and see if I can get some sales. And then when you start doing, 3 to 5 sales per day, swap it over to FBA. Any idea in percentages how many returns new businesses should expect? Again, that's going to vary depending on your product and your supplier. Electronics, I would venture to say 15 to 20% you're going to be getting returns, like, because electronics are it's an area that I don't sell in, just for the sheer fact that returns are very common, and I like my metrics to be nice, and I don't want Amazon shutting me down anytime soon. So there's that. But you have to be careful. You have to be very careful with that. Very, very careful, because you can't just say, like, oh, this is what you can expect. On average, if you're doing something like I'd say maybe something like Garland, like the Garland there, you might, for every 30 that you sell, I'd say you might get anywhere from 3 to 5 returns, and that'd be because someone's like, oh, I don't like the color, or this isn't large enough, I wanted more Garland or something. But something like that, probably 3 to 5 within 30, nothing too crazy. So hopefully that'll help you out a little bit. But yep, just go ahead, let's keep moving forward. Sorry guys, I'm like trying to answer all these questions for you and stuff. All right, and so now guys, like, if you didn't know already, typically if you get the web app and the Chrome extension, it's $378.99. If you guys get it tonight, use that code, use the Sumani code, man, use that code, and you guys are gonna get it for $279. You're gonna get the web app and the Chrome extension for $279. That way you can do your keyword research and do your product research at the same time, and track the products that you're looking at, which is really, really important, because when you're getting into private label FBA, you want to make sure that you guys are tracking products and seeing, if they're trending, if they're being consistent, if they were just spiked, like artificially inflated, because some people will do that. They'll use black hat launch strategies, get a buttload of sales within the first like few weeks, and then basically flatline and die, because that product isn't something that people want. It's just an artificial inflation to get that sales rank up, and then hope that people are going to be purchasing after that, which is not always the case. All right, so please guys, definitely check that out. For the people who do purchase through the link, and you guys get get the web app and a Chrome extension, I'm going to be hooking you guys up, man. 5 of you are going to get something. One of you is going to get an hour-long Skype call with me. I'm going to walk you through the process of finding good products, whether they be through wholesale, private label, whatever. Any questions you have on Amazon to get up and running, we're going to go through. We're going to go through. I'm trying to get you guys profitable from day one, so that way you're not spinning your wheels and just wasting tons of money. And then for you other four, I'm going to hook you guys up with Amazon gift cards, because Amazon is a place to go for the holidays. That way you guys can get something for your loved ones. If you got kids, get some Funko Pops. Probably not a bad idea to put under the Christmas tree. Or maybe the Millennium Falcon would be a good one for your kids, or even for yourself. I got stuff on my desk in the office. But yeah, man, so make sure you guys check that out. Please, if you have any questions, let's go ahead. Let's get into it, man. Let's start answering some questions. I'm ready. There's a few hundred of you in here, so let's go ahead. Let's knock it out. Any questions you guys have, we can answer. I'm pretty sure you guys want to know more about private label versus wholesale, so ask away. If you guys don't get your questions answered in here, you can hit me up right here. You can hit me up on social media. You can email me. Check me out on Instagram, Facebook. You can check out my webpage. Whatever you guys can do, however you guys need to find me, hit me up. Just hit me up. Do whatever you guys got to do. I'm leaving this up right here. I'm going to start answering your questions. Let's see. Yo, John. Two people. No, you guys can use it. So if you have a business partner, you can definitely use that. Use the same login. I wouldn't recommend just sharing it. That's wrong. But if you guys are business partners, then most definitely. I highly recommend you and your business partner, knock that out. You know, get it so you guys can get all the help in the freaking world. Trust me. When you're not researching, he's going to be using it to research. You guys will be. I spent when I first got AMZ Scout, I spent hours just researching products, and it definitely paid off. It's beautiful. Evan, so for me, I use nationwidebarcode.com. That's nationwidebarcode.com. So if you guys did not know, I'm going to go ahead and put that in there. This is Nationwide Barcode. That's what I use, guys. I use Nationwide Barcode. So if you need UPCs, I have never had an issue. Never had an issue with those people ever. Um, Lana, PPC is a pay-per-click. It's Amazon's paid traffic platform. It's how you advertise. You know those listings on Amazon that say sponsored post. That's it. That's pay-per-click. Amazon PPC. Hopefully you got that, Evans, for the UPCs, nationwide barcode, guys. Nationwide barcode, definitely. Who is marking each item? Katarina, who's marking each item with the UPC code? So the UPC, when you're drop shipping, the UPC is just used to create the listing. When it comes to FBA, your supplier is going to be putting the Amazon code on each item as it goes out. They're going to be putting it on the packaging, and then there's going to be a label that Amazon gives you when you set up your FBA shipping options, and then boom, you're going to send it out to the FBA warehouse, and you'll be able to go from there. Let's see what other ones. Anne, okay, so do you need a special account to sell wholesale name brand items? No, you do not. Well, you should get a pro account. All right, get an Amazon Pro account. It's $39.99. You definitely need it. But what you're going to need an LLC, and you're going to need a resale certificate in some places. So let's say your LLC is created in like California. You're going to need a resale certificate. For me, I'm incorporated out of Delaware. I use this company called IncNow, INCNOW.com. They incorporate out of Delaware, so I did not need a resale certificate for some of my suppliers because I incorporated out of Delaware. But most wholesale suppliers will not work with you without a legitimate business because they want to know that they're getting in business with a business, not just some random person. All right, so Adil, do I prefer wholesale? So it depends. It's going to depend. So um, for me, I like wholesale just for the sheer fact that it's simple, right? It's really simple. You can get in and out real clean. You don't have too much to worry about. The margins are generally lower, but you don't have to think about it. I would recommend wholesale for someone who's trying to get their feet wet with Amazon. They just want to get a couple sales. Like I said before, the Funko Pops are a pretty good way. Now you're not going to make a ton of profit on each one of those, but it's a good way to learn how to ship items to Amazon, or learn how to send them out yourself if you're going to be doing merchant fulfilled on your own. But private label is good too. I do a lot of private label, but wholesale is definitely quick and easy, and I love it for that. Um, Set up private label drop shipping directly with your supplier. Shant, you will need to. You'll be drop shipping. Typically, you'll be using ePacket for that. Your supplier will definitely be the one to do that for you, but you'll create your listing, and you'll still create the listing, and then when you get an order on Amazon, you'll have your supplier ship that out. Merchant fulfilled can be sent to Amazon for FBA. Steven, sometimes when you're doing merchant fulfilled, it's merchant fulfilled, so it's being sent by you. It's not being sent to Amazon for FBA. Like you can, but it's FBA at that point. It's not called merchant fulfilled anymore. Mariah, what should a new seller start from? There's a specific category. It depends on your niche. Like for me, I have three different stores. The geek niche, I have, baby store, and then I have a pet store. The geek niche is what I started off with first, just because that's what I love. I'm very passionate. I'm a total nerd, so you guys couldn't tell. But yeah, that's why I started off on. And it depends on what you're most passionate about. If you're passionate about pets, sell pet stuff. Um, Tom, how do I bundle stuff? My suppliers typically will bundle things together. When it comes to private label drop shipping, you don't have to have a supplier bundle things together. They can come from two separate suppliers at two separate times. You just got to make sure you let your customers know about that. If you don't, you're going to have a very, very, very difficult time. A very bad time too. Your customers are going to complain. Juan, do I do keyword research during product research? Is more useful. It's Keyword research is more useful when you're actually building a listing. So keep that in mind. I do my product research first, and then do my keyword research after. So after I find a good product, then I'll start doing keyword research. So that way I can start building my listing out and being competitive. What are the steps to create a private label? John, check out my YouTube channel. The link is right there. Check it out. There is actually a video on how to start private label drop shipping step by step. So with you, it's there's so many things in between. Like you're gonna have to do product research, you have to do keyword research. You gotta find a supplier. You're gonna have it depends on if you're doing private label drop shipping or if you're private label FBA, because with that you're gonna need custom packaging. So you have to go to Fiverr and get someone to do that. Just check out the video. There's so many steps to it. Like it would take like all night. But if you're one of the people that win, if you're number one, I'll go through all that. Go through all that with you. Is there any way to get the best sellers category list, or how can I look for the ones that are more attractive? Linda, so like in your case, what are you trying to do exactly? Like, are you trying to pick a category, or you don't know what category to get into, or are you confused? Like, give me a little bit more information, and that way I can better help you. Um, how many products should you start with if you were using FBA? Philip, it depends, man. It depends on if you're doing private label FBA or if you're doing private label, I'm sorry, a wholesale FBA. Private label FBA, I recommend just one for a beginner, because you're not going to be able to pull that off. You're not going to be able to pull off multiple items at one time unless you're just some Amazon selling god. It's going to be very difficult for you to focus on like 5 different products at the same time when you don't even know how to scale just one. So get one product, scale it, and then rinse and repeat, and then you could probably do 1 or 2 the next time and go from there. But Philip, just do one. But with wholesale, you can do as many as your budget can afford. Like I could have 10, 15 different Funko Pop items going at a time, because I know they're all going to sell. So I just send them all into Amazon, step back, don't have to worry about it from there. Rinse and repeat. Benita, yes, you will have to pay for storage. Depending on how long your item is sitting there. That's why you pick items that, like if you're doing wholesale, you pick items that aren't going to sit there. You pick items that are going to sell. That's why I say look for high sales ranks. When it comes to private label, you will be paying for storage if your item is just sitting there, which leads into Andy's question. If your product is selling slowly, when does Amazon start hitting you with storage fees? Typically, that's after a few months of you just sitting around not doing anything. So be careful on that. All right. So if you notice that you're not selling anything, you're selling like one every other day, you got a few months before Amazon starts hitting you, about 3. Private label drop shipping, are those products coming from a US based supplier? It depends, man. Some of my products come from US based suppliers, others come directly from China. So, and people will wait, by the way, they'll wait if they're coming from China. You just have to make sure you have good products. Don't let anybody tell you that they won't wait, because I'm living proof that people will wait 2, 3 weeks for products. Most of the time, people forget they even freaking ordered. And then, I get a review. They're like, oh my God, I completely forgot. And, this guy, he was so awesome, blah, blah, blah. I love this company. Do you need my own UPC barcode? No, you don't. With wholesale, you do not need UPCs. With private label, you do. Jay, during Q4, yeah, you do. You will need approval to sell toys on Amazon. Q4 is real strict. Amazon will basically squelch you. They're like, yeah, you're not going to be selling items, like that. You're going to be screwed, during Q4. So if you start now, chances are you're not going to be eligible, and you'll need authorization to sell certain brands like Funko Pops. You're not going to be able to sell unless you get authorization. So you're going to have to make a purchase from Funko and then go to Amazon and get ungated and all that. Oh man, Mihajlo. Oh, you're in Serbia. Yo, sorry, man. Yo, thank you for staying up, man. It's so dope. Thank you for staying awake and checking out the webinar, man. I totally appreciate it. Um, we're still working your typical like 9 to 5. I see. Slave system. Ah, man, look, having a job is a really good way to get capital to break into the market. Don't let anyone tell you that having a job is terrible. Like, trust me on that. You definitely want to have capital to get into selling on Amazon. Without money, you're up the creek and no paddle. Trust me on that. Don't ever let someone tell you, "Oh, having a job is for suckers," because you're going to need a job when you're starting off selling on Amazon. Believe me, it'll make all the difference. Um, let's see what other ones. Choo-choo. Let's see, did I miss any? Trying to make sure I didn't miss any of your questions, before I start answering all the new ones. Oh, Steven, sorry, man. Yeah, so you have a pallet of 1,000 pieces of product you want to sell on Amazon. I would send them directly to Amazon for FBA. If you already have them sitting around, send them directly to FBA. Don't even bother waiting. Don't even waste your time, man. Oh snap! Yeah, let me go ahead and plug in this MacBook Pro. Sorry guys, I didn't realize that my battery was so low. Yeah, but with 1,000 pieces, send that directly to Amazon. Just get it out. Let's see, did I miss any? All right. Nope, didn't miss those. You're not going to be getting prime shipping from international suppliers. All right. So typically with if you're doing merchant fulfilled prime or seller fulfilled prime, I should say, you're going to have those products on hand. All right. You're going to be the one shipping them out. If you're doing private label drop shipping, you're not doing prime. Like that's going to be FBA or something that you have sourced locally, potentially at your house where you can do seller fulfilled prime. You're not going to be doing that otherwise. So yeah, international products not going to be prime unless you have like the world's craziest shipping, which is going to be so expensive it'd be cost prohibitive unless your item is like $2,000 and you're willing to pay like $100, maybe two for shipping, for air shipping. Carmen, if I was starting all over today, how many products would I launch and what would be the starting amount of products ordered? If I had to start all over today, literally all over, I would immediately get into wholesale. And the reason why is because it's a cash flow setup. Wholesale is all about cash flow, money in, money out. So it would give me enough money to get in a private label. And I'd probably start with maybe 3 to 5 wholesale items right off the bat, right out the gate. Send them into Amazon, money comes in, and I would use that to get more products and more wholesale products, and then use some of that money to start investing in one wholesale, no, not one wholesale, but one private label product. I'd do my product research and then start getting into that. So I would definitely get into wholesale for that's if you have money though. Like if I had the money I have now, I'd get into wholesale right off the bat. Angelo, it depends, man. So it's really going to depend. Um, so if you're getting in a wholesale, you're not going to be getting, sourcing from Alibaba. If you're going for private label, you're going to be sourcing from Alibaba or places like DHgate or locally. Like you can find product suppliers locally. I would recommend that if you're in a place that's pretty industrial, kind of like Philadelphia, where there's a lot of products. You can go and find some. There's actually a person that we use for the shop. That makes like our exhaust and intakes and stuff like that. So he's a homegrown dude. But give me 1 second, guys. Turn this video. I'm gonna go get my my MacBook charger and plug this in so I can keep answering your questions. So don't go anywhere. All right, yeah, we plugged back in. We are good to go. All right, sweet. So let's see. Man, Can you, yes, so Beer, can you have several Amazon accounts using different LLCs? Yes. So you have to have a different LLC for each Amazon account, and you have to have permission. You have to ask Amazon, okay? You have to ask Amazon. You cannot just start creating an account, separate accounts without asking Amazon, because if you're found out, which you're going to be, they're going to end up suspending not only the new account but your old account as well. So if you have money tied up in your old account, especially if you're doing like $100,000 a month, you don't want that account suspended. So be very, very careful. Okay, very careful. Let's see. Madi, so you set up a new account with Amazon. They approved you the same day and suspended the account same day. Any recommendations? What did they suspend you for? Probably because they can't verify your information. So get your information in. That's all you have to do. Get your information in. Like literally, just get your information in. All right. So get your information in. They're probably just asking to verify your identity. Now, if you're from a different country that is not on the list, then you're kind of screwed. So sorry about that. Let's see. Sorry, guys, going through trying to see what other questions you guys have. You know, making sure I getting all these questions. I don't want to leave you guys out. I know you have tons of them. So we're trying to get to them as quick as we can. All right, let's go through. All right. Let's see. Sorry, guys, going through, checking all of them. All right, I think I have all those up there. Angelo, don't do it. Well, because when you're doing private label FBA, man, sourcing from AliExpress just isn't good because you're not going to get the best pricing. Private label FBA, go to Alibaba, because typically the people who are selling on AliExpress are the suppliers on Alibaba. They're just selling individual units. Just trust me on this. You're going to get the best price if you go to Alibaba. Just do it. Angelo, go to Alibaba, because you're going to get way better pricing, because you're going to be buying them in bulk anyway. Just don't even bother trying to buy them one by one, or trying to haggle with people who are selling individuals, because they're never going to give you the best price. You're actually going to end up worse off than you would have been if you just went to Alibaba right off the bat. Want to know how I know? Because I did it before. I bought 15 of this one product, and the price was still astronomical. And I mean, it took forever to get to me. Anyway, and it also took forever to get to the Amazon warehouse. It was still sent through ePacket, and it took 3-4 weeks to get there, as opposed to just me buying them from the supplier on Alibaba. I could have got them shipped by air, and it would have been there way quicker. Julia, AMZscout has pretty accurate numbers. Now, if you take a look versus like other ones, the other selling tools like Jungle Scout, they err on the higher side. So you'll look, and the numbers that we had for some of those products, like let's say for the Garland, those would be $2,000 to $5,000 higher, if not more. So it just inflates and gets you pumped up, right? You're like, oh man, I'm doing more. I'm gonna do so much money. Whereas AMZscout is more realistic. I've been within my own products. I've been within plus or minus anywhere between like 1,000 to 1,500 in most cases. So pretty accurate. There was one time where it was off by like $2,000, and 2,000, compared to, like when you're doing 15, 20K for an item, you can give or take that. But generally pretty realistic, which is why I use them, and I've been using them forever. Like this is pretty much the only tool that I've used. Like I tried other ones in the beginning, and then just stuck with AMZscout, and I've been using them for years. I love their product. And it helps me make a lot of money. It helps my students make a lot of money. It helps me make money with my automation clients. you know, so there's that. I definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend it, you know. But yeah. So let's go ahead. If you guys have any more questions, you know, please do reach out. As you guys can see here, check, that's all the information. You guys can email me. You guys can check me out on my website. You guys can check me out on Instagram. You guys can check me out on Facebook. You know, I'm always active. Sorry guys, I just went back. If you guys did not know, get hit right here, man. Hit the link, use the code SUMONEY. Trust me, it's worth it. Get AMZ Scout, guys. Get AMZ Scout the Chrome extension and the web app, because you need to be able to do effective product research and keyword research, especially when you're doing private label. Again, check these out. You guys can check out my new YouTube channel. This is my solo channel. You know, I have a other channel with my business partner. It's Two Dudes Dropshipping. You know, this one is my solo channel, the Rup Next eCom Bootcamp channel. Check it out, guys. Like, you can hit me up anytime, doesn't matter. I'm gonna get back to you unless I'm sleeping. So all of this right here, people, check it out. All right, keep that up. So email me, check, you know, hit the website, whatever you guys got to do. If you want your questions answered, hit me up. I have no problem answering all your questions. Thank you guys so much for, you know, hanging around with me. Yo, my man in Serbia, thank you for hanging out, man. It's 2:15 in the morning. I'm so sorry I kept you awake for so long, but yeah, you know, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Hopefully I see you guys around. Hopefully you guys hit me up. You have some questions. I see you guys on social media, see you on YouTube, whatever. With that being said, man, they're gonna go ahead. They're gonna cut this out. You guys have a good night if you're in the US, and if you guys are not in the US and it's morning time, you guys have a good morning and go about your days. Remember, hit me up, get AMZ Scout Pro, get the Chrome app, the Chrome extension and the web app. You guys get them at a discount. It's $279. If you guys use that promo code SUMONEY, check the chat. Check the chat. All right, SUMONEY. Click that link. Use the code. You're gonna get a massive discount. It's $100 off. That is huge. It's $100 off. You get lifetime access. Check it out. Get it, guys. All right. So peace out. You guys go ahead. You know, get to it. Start selling on Amazon, man. Start selling. Get to it. Get AMZ Scout tools and start selling. All right. So remember that, and also, you know, hit me up, man. Check me out. You know, if you guys have any questions, you know, email me. I'm gonna leave this up for a couple more minutes. You know, you guys can go ahead, do what you got to do, and you know, subscribe to the channel. Whatever you guys got to do, man. You know, I'm